Something strange is going on in Cleveland. The Browns just made a quarterback move so bizarre, it could make a Rubik's Cube cry. Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' golden arm son and one of the most hyped young quarterbacks in the league, has quietly been removed from the Browns' QB2 spot. And get this, no big announcement, no warning, no reason, just a quiet reshuffling that fans noticed only because of one viral video. It all started when footage dropped showing Shedeur warming up before practice. Nothing seemed unusual, just another day in Cleveland. Until eagle-eyed fans noticed who was standing next to him, Bailey Zappe. Yes, that Bailey Zappe, the former Patriots QB who somehow always ends up in the middle of football chaos. He was taking reps right next to Dillon Gabriel, the Browns' current starter. And before anyone could blink, Zappe had been elevated to QB2, with Shedeur nowhere to be found. Fans immediately hit social media, lighting up Cleveland Twitter like it was 2018 all over again. Wait, when did this happen? One post said. Another fan wrote, Zappe's QB2? You gotta be kidding me. Even the local media looked confused. Everyone went digging through practice clips, pressers, and injury reports, trying to figure out what just happened. Then came the twist. Late Saturday night, just hours before game day, Shedeur Sanders suddenly appeared on the Browns' injury report. Back tightness. Questionable to play. Back tightness? Out of nowhere. Yeah, right? The timing felt suspicious. One day he's healthy, smiling, throwing darts at practice. The next he's sidelined and Zappe's moved up. It looked less like medical caution and more like a quiet demotion disguised as an injury. Fans weren't buying it. Some called it classic Browns misdirection. Others said this franchise treats quarterbacks like disposable batteries. Just swap them out when things get complicated. To make it even crazier, the Browns were gearing up for their matchup against the Patriots, and insiders reported that Bailey Zappe had been elevated from the practice squad, officially active. Meanwhile, Shedeur, the supposed future of the franchise, was now a big question mark. And that's when the internet absolutely exploded. Clips of Shedeur warming up started circulating everywhere. Watch closely, one analyst tweeted. Zappe's taking QB2 reps, Shedeur's on the sideline. Within minutes, conspiracy theories started flying faster than a Mahomes pass. Was it really back tightness? Or had the Browns quietly benched Shedeur for reasons they weren't ready to admit? Cleveland fans have seen this movie before too many times. Every season brings a new quarterback controversy. And just when things seem calm, another storm hits. This wasn't supposed to happen with Shedeur. He was supposed to represent change, hope, and stability. The kid with talent, confidence, and legacy. But in Cleveland, even the future gets complicated. The next morning, the headlines hit like thunder. Browns shake-up quarterback depth chart. Shedeur Sanders out as QB2. No official explanation. No coach quotes. No clarity. Just a silent shift that spoke louder than any press conference. Cleveland fans, already used to chaos, started connecting dots. Some believe this had been brewing for weeks. Ever since the last joint practice, where insiders claim Shedeur looked sharper than Gabriel, running the scout team with precision, confidence, and swagger, something felt off. According to people inside the building, that practice raised eyebrows. Coaches praised Shedeur's control, while Gabriel struggled to move the offense. It should have been a good sign. Competition brings out the best, right? Except this is Cleveland. Competition sometimes means conflict. Rumors began swirling that offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt wasn't thrilled about Shedeur's approach. Too confident, too vocal, too unwilling to wait his turn. Others say Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, wanted to slow things down, develop Shedeur quietly behind the scenes. But the fans didn't want quiet. They wanted results. Shedeur wasn't just a rookie. He was Deion's son, a walking headline, and a brand on his own. Every throw, every move, every sideline look, all of it made national clips. ESPN ran it. SportsCenter replayed it. NFL Twitter obsessed over it. And the Browns? They didn't seem ready for that spotlight. Then came the London trip. The Browns were set to play overseas, a huge stage for the organization, and an even bigger opportunity to showcase Shedeur. Insiders whispered that this might have been his chance to step in mid-game if Gabriel struggled. But then came that back tightness report, and Shedeur didn't travel at full strength. Fans began asking the hard question, Was this a cover-up for internal drama? One post-game show host even hinted that something personal may have happened between Stefanski and Shedeur, a disagreement during practice or film review. It wasn't confirmed, but the whispers grew louder by the hour. Meanwhile, Gabriel didn't help the situation. His first half against the Patriots in London? Rough. Missed reads, late throws, no rhythm. Cameras even caught Stefanski pacing the sideline. Headset down, arms crossed, classic coach body language for this is not going well. Fans started chanting online, put Shedeur in. But he wasn't there. He wasn't even active. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about health. This was about control. The Browns had made a statement without saying a word. By elevating Zappe and sidelining Shedeur, they'd sent a message. This team moves on their terms. Not the fans, not the media's, not Deion Sanders. But that kind of silence doesn't last long in today's NFL. Within 48 hours, Deion himself had reposted a fan clip on social media. Just a simple emoji reaction, but that was enough. The post read, "Keep your head high too." And Coach Prime responded with the emoji combo, meaning, stay smart, stay focused. To the football world, that was code. Deion was paying attention. Cleveland might have thought they could control the story, but when your backup quarterback's last name is Sanders, the story controls you. And that's when everything started to unravel. By Monday morning, the Cleveland sports world was in chaos. Talk shows, podcasts, and YouTube analysts were lighting up with one question. What is happening with Shedeur Sanders? The story had escaped the building. Inside team headquarters, sources described a tense atmosphere. Kevin Stefanski, usually calm and composed, reportedly held a closed-door meeting with the offensive staff. The message was simple. We're sticking with Gabriel for now. No distractions. But that phrase, no distractions, said everything. Because in NFL language, distractions often means media pressure. And when your quarterback's dad is Deion Sanders, media pressure is unavoidable. Shedeur hadn't done anything wrong. He practiced hard, shown discipline, kept his head down. But every reporter in that locker room wanted the same quote, something about being benched, about patience, about Deion. And Shedeur, being trained by his father, gave them nothing. No reaction, no anger, just focus. Still, even silence can make headlines. That's when Tony Grossi, a Cleveland reporter known for his blunt style, went on air and said, "This kid is too Hollywood for this locker room. You can see it in his walk, his confidence. It rubs people the wrong way." The comment went viral instantly. Fans divided into two camps. One side said Shedeur's swagger was earned. He'd been raised under pressure, groomed by a Hall of Famer, and he had the stats at Colorado to prove it. The other side said he hadn't earned a thing yet, not in the NFL. But the real tension wasn't on social media. It was inside the team. Players had started choosing sides without realizing it. Some of the veterans respected Shedeur's work ethic and leadership in drills. They'd seen him stay late watching film, taking notes, mimicking defenses like a veteran. Others, especially those loyal to Gabriel, felt Shedeur was being pushed too fast, that the media was forcing Stefanski's hand. That's the last thing any head coach wants, a divided locker room. One anonymous player reportedly said after practice, "Man, I don't care who starts. I just want the drama to stop." But it wasn't stopping. It was building. Because now Deion Sanders was being asked directly about the Browns during media appearances. And he didn't avoid the topic. He said, "My son's built for any situation. Whatever's meant for him will happen. You can't dim the light that God put in him." To the average listener, that sounded calm, even spiritual. But to those inside the NFL, that was a shot, a polite warning that Deion was watching how his son was treated. And when Deion Sanders talks, people listen. The Browns organization had a decision to make. Either embrace the media storm and let Shedeur's presence boost the brand, or try to control it and risk alienating their most talked-about rookie. Stefanski chose control, but control comes at a cost. The next practice was quiet, too quiet. Reporters noted that Shedeur worked almost exclusively with the scout team, not taking a single rep with the first or second unit. That was unusual, and fans noticed. Posts started flooding social media. Pictures of Shedeur throwing dimes to backup receivers, side by side with clips of Gabriel struggling in the previous game. The narrative was shifting. And for a coach trying to manage headlines, that was the worst-case scenario. The pressure wasn't just on the quarterbacks anymore. It was on Stefanski himself. Because if Shedeur continued to shine in practice while Gabriel kept struggling on Sundays, there would be no stopping the inevitable storm heading his way. And it was already brewing on every sports desk in America. By midweek, the situation had reached a breaking point. The Browns front office held a meeting that, according to insiders, was heated and uncomfortable. Jimmy Haslam, the team owner, wanted answers. The team's offense looked flat, the fan base was divided, and social media was filled with one name, Shedeur Sanders. Executives argued over whether to get ahead of the narrative or wait it out. Stefanski, according to reports, stood firm. He believed Gabriel was the safer option, more familiar with the system, less of a media distraction. But Haslam didn't look convinced. Because in a business driven by ratings, relevance, and revenue, distraction can also mean opportunity. And Shedeur was good for business. By now, Deion Sanders had been quiet for several days, too quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. The silence before the storm. And then, during a late-night sports segment, it happened. A clip surfaced of Deion on a podcast, where he was asked whether Shedeur was being treated fairly in Cleveland. Deion smiled, leaned back, and said, "Fair? Life ain't fair. But when you have greatness in a room, you don't bench it. You build around it." Those words sent shockwaves across the NFL landscape. Sports analysts began dissecting every syllable. Some called it a motivational message. Others saw it as a direct shot at the Browns coaching staff. Either way, the damage was done. Within 24 hours, #StartShedeur was trending. Fans flooded comment sections demanding a change. Local radio hosts mocked the idea of keeping a $30 million face on the bench. Even former players joined in, saying Shedeur's composure and pedigree deserved at least a fair shot. Behind closed doors, the team's PR department was scrambling. They tried to calm the narrative, but it was spreading faster than they could control. Every camera, every mic, every sports reporter in Ohio wanted a quote from Kevin Stefanski. When he finally spoke, his words were careful, too careful. "We make decisions based on what gives us the best chance to win. Shedeur's time will come. We're confident in both our quarterbacks." But fans didn't buy it. They'd seen enough of the games, the poor offensive execution, the missed opportunities. Meanwhile, clips of Shedeur's practice throws, precise, powerful, confident, had gone viral. Inside the locker room, the tension was palpable. Players who once stayed quiet started whispering. One veteran reportedly told a teammate, "You can't hold that kid back forever. He's got it." Even some assistant coaches privately agreed. They'd seen the leadership, the energy he brought to the huddle. When Shedeur was on the field, guys wanted to play harder. It wasn't just talent, it was magnetism. And that's what the Browns were missing. As the next game approached, Stefanski's seat grew hotter. Media outlets questioned his judgment. Commentators pointed out that playing it safe might cost him his job. Deion's camp stayed silent, but that silence spoke volumes. Everyone knew he was watching every snap, every decision, every headline. Finally, game day arrived. Shedeur, once again, was on the sideline, helmet in hand, calm but unreadable. Cameras panned to him constantly. Gabriel started, struggled early, and by halftime, the crowd's chant was deafening. "We want Shedeur. We want Shedeur." Stefanski glanced toward his rookie. Their eyes met briefly. And for a moment, everything, the drama, the media chaos, the pressure, seemed to hang in the air. No one knew what he'd do next. Would he double down, or give the people what they wanted? The broadcast cut to commercial, leaving fans on edge. And as the second half began, one truth had become clear. Whether he played that day or not, Shedeur Sanders had already taken over Cleveland.